I remember when I was pregnant with my son back in 2016, and a friend asked me how I was finding pregnancy. And I think she was just expecting me to say, "Oh, it's great." And I turned around and said, "Oh my God, there are a lot of emotions. There are a lot of hormones." And it's true, there are a lot of hormones during pregnancy. We have more estrogen in our bodies than at any other time of our life combined, about 1,000 times the amount of what is normal, like what is typical. And we have about 10 to 15 times the amount of progesterone than we would have in the luteal phase of our menstrual cycle. Plus, there are a number of other hormones which are in really different levels to normal. So it is creating a lot of change. And of course, our body is preparing to have a baby, but also our brain is preparing to have a baby. And that's one of the things I want to talk about today. And so there was some research done around what happens to the structure of a woman's brain during pregnancy. And it was published in the 2016 Nature Neuroscience journal. And in this study, they scanned the brains of 25 women before pregnancy and then afterwards. And there was such significant structural changes that artificial intelligence could predict with 100% accuracy which women had had babies and which ones had not. And they also did scan the fathers, and so that they could determine that it was indeed the pregnancy that had created the change, not the act of preparing to have a baby or having the baby and caring for it. And so they found there was a particular region of the brain which shrinks slightly, which sounds bad, but it is not a bad thing. That part of the brain becomes leaner, more refined, and better at what it does. So which part of the brain do you think it might be? What do you think it might relate to? It is the part of the brain involved with social cognition, empathy, and connecting with other people. So yes, connecting with the baby, your baby, but also connecting with other people and connecting with the wider range of people that you'll typically be dealing with once you have a child to help you to raise that baby. And the volume reductions showed a big overlap with how the brain looks when interacting with her baby as well, and could be used to predict levels of mother to child attachment, which I found quite interesting also. And they also found that this change persists for at least 2 years post pregnancy. So if you're a non-birth mother or if you're a father, of course you can do just as an amazing parent. It's just that you're doing more on the job training. And so it's the interaction with your baby and the caring for the baby that develops that skill at caring for the baby. And it seems like pregnancy and birth give a biological shortcut for that process. So additionally, though, there are some areas of the brain that increase in size. So some research published by the American Psychological Association in 2010 found that the brains of new mothers bulk up in areas linked to motivation and behavior, and that the mothers who gushed the most about their babies showed the greatest growth in key parts of the midbrain. So straight away I thought, did I gush enough about my babies? Do I gush enough about my babies? But this research, which was published in the Behavioral Neuroscience Journal, speculates that hormonal changes right after the birth, including increases in estrogen, oxytocin, and prolactin, help the mother's brain reshape in response to their baby. And they also speculated the motivation to take care of a baby might be less of an instinctive response and more of a result of active brain building. The final thing I want to touch on is baby brain. So that brain fog or becoming forgetful when pregnant or in the early stages of having a baby. There is a lot of research on this, including quite a big meta-analysis by Deakin University, which was published in the Medical Journal of Australia in 2018. And they found that there is a decrease in cognition and memory during pregnancy, particularly in the third trimester, which seems to be more related to sleep deprivation. It's not actually like after having a baby, it's not that you're less smart. by any means, but you might be a bit distracted, thinking about other things, thinking about your body, thinking about the baby. Actually, some things like remembering dates or times or people's names and things like that are just kind of crowded out by that process. Also, we might blame baby brain for something that we forget when we're pregnant or when we have a young baby, whereas if the same thing happened at a different time, we would attribute it to something else. And the key thing to know is that even though you might see some of this forgetfulness when pregnant or with the baby, if you actually really need to focus or you need to do something using your full intelligence, you absolutely can. So it's when you prioritize that, it's there. Thank you.